This webinar aims to provide teachers with instructions and advice on how best to use the Primezone Academy online course entitled Grains, Paddock to Plate, Growing Grains Sustainably for Years 5 and 6. The course consists of 7 online lessons plus an optional extension lesson. Information is provided to students via a range of mediums such as text, images, videos and web links. And opportunities are included to incorporate hands-on learning tasks and research tasks in various lessons. Student learning can be assessed via interactive quizzes based on the course material and the completion of a learning journal, which allows students to document their learning from each lesson. The course can be completed across a time frame that suits the needs of the teacher and the class. It can be completed during class time or could be set as a home learning component of study to complement learning about food and fibre production. The course supports the Living World content in the New South Wales Stage 3 Science and Technology syllabus. In particular, the focus question, why is it important for food and/or fibre to be produced sustainably? And the Year 5 and 6 Design and Technologies content in the Australian curriculum, particularly investigate how and why food and fibre are produced in managed environments and prepared to enable people to grow and be healthy. Additionally, lessons support outcomes from the English syllabus and address the cross-curriculum priorities of sustainability and Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander histories and cultures. The course aims to give students an understanding of contemporary paddock-to-plate processes of grain-based foods, the different ways Australian grain growers are addressing issues of sustainability, and the ways that native grains have been grown and prepared traditionally by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people for generations. In addition, it is hoped that by using the course, students will gain skills in navigating online learning tools, recording and reflecting on their learning, and participating in hands-on learning and research tasks. If access to multiple devices with internet connectivity is a limiting factor within the classroom, teachers may choose to visit the Primezone website at www.primezone.edu.au. To search for the course, once on the website, teachers can use the search function to type in a keyword and search for the appropriate course materials. A link will be provided for teachers to download a printable PDF version of the course material. If, however, there is access to multiple devices with internet connectivity, teachers and students can create their own Primezone Academy accounts by visiting www.primezoneacademy.edu.au. Accounts can be created by clicking Sign In and Create a new account. Teachers and students can create their own individual accounts by using their school email address and a password of their choice. Using the online course via Primezone Academy will allow students to individually interact with the course materials on their device, connect to the relevant links provided in lessons, participate in interactive quizzes, and download the learning journal to complete digitally. Once enrolment in the course is complete, the introduction provides instructions for both students and teachers. In the Student Instructions section, students can access a copy of the Learning Journal, an assessment component of the course. The Learning Journal can be downloaded and saved onto a device, allowing students to type responses and save their changes as they go. Alternatively, once downloaded, it can be printed for students to write their responses by hand. The Teacher Instructions section provides important information regarding links for each lesson to both the New South Wales and the Australian curriculums, and a list of materials needed for the hands-on learning tasks. All materials are easy to access and low cost. Lesson content can be found under the heading Activities. Lesson 1, What are Grains?, gives students background information about the types of grains grown in Australia, the location of grain growing regions, eating grains as part of a healthy diet, and the ways we turn grains into the foods we eat. The Learning Journal task requires students to reflect on their learning in Lesson 1 and conduct research on the paddock to plate process of one of Australia's main grain crops, oats, barley or wheat. Lesson 2, Sustainability in Grain Growing, investigates the concept of sustainable cropping and the different environmental, economic and social factors important to sustainable agricultural practices. Students will watch videos and read an Enviro story about farming families engaging in sustainable farming practices. The Learning Journal task requires students to reflect on their understanding of sustainability in relation to the Enviro story, A Farming Family. A multiple choice quiz follows this lesson. Students will need to get 80% of their answers correct in order to progress to the next lesson. Lesson 3, Building and Maintaining Soil Health, takes a look at the importance of soil for grain growing and the ways in which the health of soil is managed by Australian grain growers. Students can participate in 2 hands-on learning tasks, allowing them to investigate the type of soil in their school or home garden and conduct research into the different layers and components of soil. Findings from these investigations can be recorded in the Learning Journal. Lesson 4, Managing Water Wisely, investigates the importance of water and the ways in which research and development are assisting farmers to manage their water use and storage. Students will watch a video to learn about speed breeding and answer questions about this technique in their Learning Journal. Lesson 5, Promoting Biodiversity, looks at what biodiversity is and the reasons it is important on farms. Students can learn more by reading the Enviro story, Biodiversity at Yallock, and reflect on the practices undertaken on this property to support biodiversity in their Learning Journal. Students can test their knowledge by taking the interactive quiz at the end of this lesson. Lesson 6, Indigenous Perspectives Part 1, looks at the long history of how grains from native grasses have been grown, managed and harvested by Indigenous Australians for the purpose of making flatbreads. Students respond to a Sydney University report entitled Native Grains from Paddock to Plate in their Learning Journals. In Lesson 7, Indigenous Perspectives Part 2, students are asked to conduct research into kangaroo grass, a native grass that produces grains. The findings from this research can be compared and contrasted with the wheat, barley and oats research completed in Lesson 1. The optional extension lesson provides an opportunity for students to consolidate and communicate their learning from this course by writing their own Enviro story. Writers should create characters who live and work on a grain-growing property, present a sustainability issue faced by the characters, and provide a solution to the issue based on the sustainability solutions we have investigated throughout the course. A story planning guide is presented in the Learning Journal to assist students with the planning and writing process. Students and teachers can decide the best ways for these stories to be published or presented. We hope this online course provides teachers with a user-friendly learning tool to support your food and fibre lessons. You can email ceo@pifa.edu.au with any further questions.